Hey guys, so trying something a little bit different today. Rather than kind of a pre-planned and practiced tutorial, this is going to be kind of a session of me just doing something off the cuff. It, yeah, hopefully it'll turn out kind of fun, but we'll see how it goes. But what I have in mind for today is, let's bring in a reference image. Now do bear with me because I'm actually using my Linux install, which I don't use a huge amount. Um, so I might get lost along the way. But yeah, I feel like just making use of it. Cool. Okay, so I've been watching a certain TV show recently. The picture should give it away for those of you that have seen it. And I fancy recreating this, probably minus the hands. I think that'll be a bit unrealistic in the time that I'm planning on putting aside for this today. But yeah, I think I've got enough time to do the rest of the scene some justice. So I'm going to get started with that. So this is how I would typically start. I pick a reference image, probably more than one typically if I'm doing something that needs to be more sort of photorealistic and whatnot. But since I'm replicating or trying to replicate a specific image, I'm just using the one, at least for now. And then what I do next typically would be to try and work out some scales of things. Yeah, like I can already see two reference, or at least one other reference image I'm going to want, which is like the exact pattern of the way these black keys are cut out of the white keys, and also a reference of size of the keys themselves. Yeah, that would certainly be the next area. So I'm going to start by deleting everything in the scene because I want a blank scene. Sorry, default cube. And I'm just going to tab over to my browser here and type in, I don't know, piano key size. I've got a feeling this new version of Ubuntu has some kind of weird screen dimming thing. Every time I alt tab to Chrome, it seems to change the brightness of my monitor. I'm not sure if that's getting picked up on the capture or not. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Musical keyboard Wikipedia. Zoom, enhance, 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 enhance. I want the size of the keys themselves. Oh, that's confusing my brain. Why can't it just do it in? Yeah, you know what? Go away, Wiki. Sometimes too much information is just too much information. Okay, so that's a kind of a rough one to go by, I suppose. So 7/8 of an inch. I have no idea what that is in proper things, but we'll work that out in a sec. And 6 inches in visible length, which is all that matters from our perspective, isn't it? So 7/8 inch in centimeters is 2.2. Perfect. 2.22. So it's going to be 2.22, and then 6 inches is going to be 15.2. 2.2 and 15.2. Wicked. Okay, so let's make a key to start off with then. I'm not even sure if this is going to be the best way to do it, but it's how I'm going to do it. Let's get this reference moved out the way a little bit. And okay, so 2.22. That's going to be 20 centimeters, not 2 centimeters, isn't it? This needs to be 0.022. And what was the other one? I forgot already. 0.152. Nope. Let's try that again without being a retard. Cool. Doesn't really matter what you are, I suppose. I'll fix you later. I do believe I've done gone wrong. That clearly can't be. Oh, that's because I set that to 1. Like an idiot. Okie dokie. So yeah, that's a key that should be roughly the right size, unless I'm doing something stupid. And what did it say? 88 keys? Does that include the black ones? I don't even know. But yeah, just going to rotate that chap around and apply the scale. And then array this a little bit. I'll work out the exact keys later on, figure out how I'm going to go about doing this first. Okay, so we have the keys kind of looking the way they should. They look keyboardy to me. Of course, we've got the little lippy bit that comes out, but that'll be easy enough to add in a moment. What I want to do first, though, is figure out how to do these the black key cutouts in the most efficient way. So basically, and we're doing this from the reference image rather than from physical sizes. I only like using the exact sizes in certain. Give me a horizontal split, or I'm going to slap you. Thank you. Yeah, I only like using exact dimensions to a certain degree, and then for laziness, I like to just kind of figure it out from there. Cool, so they go exactly down the middle, and then skip one, and then two. Then cool, okay. So let's start from this side. That'll be our starting point. Skip, go, right, cool. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this and just delete the array. And then jump to wireframe for a moment. And I don't know. Grab this along here. I'm not too concerned about the origin points because I will be destroying those. As you do. A smidge bigger. Yeah. Okay, so let's array that and make it cover up that amount. And then I'll duplicate this. Let's get this bit actually. So we can see what we're doing. Do the original. Yeah, kinda, I guess. Okay. And this one will have to go about there, except it will have 3. Yeah, hopefully I can grab both of these chaps and the rest of the keyboard. So skip one, skip one, skip one, and skip one. That's got to be enough keys, surely. Maybe it's not actually. Maybe it's not. Because there does seem to be quite a few keys here. Okay, I'll just keep going. There's probably like an actual piano or keyboard player among you who's having a heart attack at the moment and be just randomly placing keys and not paying attention to the exact amount they're supposed to be or something like that. But oh well. Okay, wicked. Yeah, that's some keys, isn't it? Me likey. Okay, so next I'm going to try, I think, do I want to mess with booleans? Will they work? I doubt it. I really heavily doubt it, actually. No, I'm doing it. Okay, so before I do anything, actually, I'm going to duplicate all of that and move it to a new collection called junk, because I have a feeling I'm going to screw this up. So we've got our backup hidden away in junk now, so now we can do whatever we like. I'm going to apply the modifier, which I'll probably really regret later because I'm going to have to probably split everything up again, but I'm sure there's a quick command for that, isn't there? Split by unconnected or something. Yeah, there's something like that. What this should do is, let's apply that. And I think I'm going to have to join all this crap as well, aren't I? I am. Okay, so that's all joined together. Oh dear. Oh dear. So I need to apply every one. Ugh. Lame. Now, a little disclaimer. I strongly doubt that this is the most efficient way to do this. There's probably many more effective ways that would be vastly superior. But you know what? I don't care. I think this would work just fine. ish. Looking at it though, because I'm going to be using these as booleans, I could probably have done with them all being just a little bit wider, but it's a little bit late to be worrying about that now, sadly. So instead I'm just going to grab, in fact I'll just grab that and then invert the selection, grab all of these and join them together. So this is all one object now. Tab into edit mode, go to wireframe, unselect the top vertices, drag the bottom ones down. What are you doing, you crazy man, you might be asking, but yeah, I'm using these as a boolean. So what I'm also going to do is grab all that. Oh, is that right? We'll soon find out. Okay, so hopefully, unless it's really not going to play ball, I should just be able to grab, in fact, make sure my ball tool is on. Let's have a look. In fact, we'll do all our add-ons that we'll need. So ball tool, yes please. Node wrangler for later, yes please. Do I have my material converter? No, I might have to install that. Anyway, okay, so grab that, then that, and then hit Control and minus. I don't think that worked. I don't think that worked at all. I can't be. Oh, it's around. So grab that, and then Control minus. Yes. Bow down for me. Yeah, cool. That works. Right. So that actually worked out a lot nicer than I had expected. Nice. Thank you very much. I'm going to be bold and just apply that boolean. And then what I'll do is I'll bring back my junk keys. One of these will be. Okay. So I'll grab that and then invert the selection, duplicate all of them and move them back to my normal collection. That means I've still got a backup in junk, but I now have these keys that have holes cut out of the main ones. Yes! Okay, and here the problem starts because yeah, I need to reduce the width of these a tad, don't I? So let's bring that in a little smidge. This could just be a matter of redoing these from yeah. So that's the problem when you're recording a tutorial, because you've done it so many times off camera, it makes you look like you're this super expert kind of, I know exactly what I'm doing, behold the power of my brain type of person. And then when you just record it live, you realise that, yeah, I'm just a mess of clickiness like the next man. But, but if we could just pretend, then that would make me feel a lot better. I think I'd like that, yeah. Cool, so that should, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I'm just going to replace these keys because I think that will be a lot easier than trying to edit them all. So I'm just going to select, invert, and delete, and then we'll get playing with these chaps. So duplicate and place over here, make count of 3, and then duplicate, plonk. Plonk's a technical term, in case you were wondering. Plonk. Plonked them in the wrong place. Plonk. 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 Ah, I'm done plonking. Okay, so, and I'm probably still going to have to redo these because it literally just occurred to me I'm going to have to adjust the shape of them. Wow! In my defense, I have no idea. Okay, so next up is shaping the keys a little bit. I'd like to actually have a closer look at a piano key at this stage. So let's have a wee smidge at what we got. Nothing too useful there. Okay. Piano key close up. Ooh. Yeah, nothing too drastic then. Might even be able to get away with another boolean there. And then just add in some kind of beveliness. TM. Cool. Okay. Okay. So, no, I don't want to view. I want to view. Ever since I started using booleans, thanks to the awesome hard surface course by Gleb and Adi, I have gotten so horribly lazy. I have to say, if ever I can get away without actually modelling anything like the old school way, I will. It's not always possible, obviously, but whenever it is, yeah, that's the new way to do it, in my opinion. Okay, so about there, and then minus. Let's have a look. About there, maybe a little higher. And then that's the entire thing done, and that is why I love booleans so much. For these ones, though, I think it's going to be more of a manual kind of. I think what we're going to have to do with these, so is going to be to scale these in a smidge like that, and then maybe pull them in like that. Does that do it justice a little bit? Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I'll just delete those again. Select, invert. Oh, don't want to delete you. That would have been unfortunate. Cool. So we're getting there with our kind of pattern. What I do want to do is have a little play with some bevels at this point. So let's go bevel. Oh my god, these menus are huge. I don't normally use this. I'm working on a large 4K display, and that translates horribly to 1080p YouTube video, or even 4K YouTube video, because unless you're watching it on a huge screen, everything's really tiny. So I've got everything enlarged at the moment, and it's making it really difficult to see where I'm looking. Okay, so I want to limit this to the angle of, like, I don't know, 60 or so. 2 segments, don't clamp, and then explode. Thanks. And we'll just bring that down to, where were we there? Because that was actually close. 0.002 maybe? Okay, little tip, if you ever get this, which really does my nutting if you're working on small objects, so much so I tend to work at ×10 scale and then shrink down afterwards. But yeah, if you get this and you want to fix it quickly, just jump into the N property menu at the side here, and then go to view, and then set the clip start to 0.01 rather than 0.1, and then as if by magic you can zoom in a lot closer. It's still really annoying though. I'm assuming there's a really good reason for why it has to do that, but I don't know what it is, nor do I care. Okay, maybe 0.001. Just want the keys to have kind of a firm shape, but I think that's looking kind of nice. Maybe 3 levels of bevel, smooth shading. Ooh, and we start to see those delightful Boolean issues arriving. So let me also turn on auto smooth and try that swanky doodle weighted normal. And suddenly they look delightful. Thank you, Gleb and Adi. You can't see it, but I'm currently raising my cowboy hat in respect. Cool. So we've got our little bevel. So I'm going to apply the ball tool, and we've got our bevel and our weighted normals modifiers still present. We don't need to touch those. But what I am going to do is still those modifiers for this. So that's the way around, isn't it? Control L modifiers. I lost my array, but other than that, that now has the with a boolean on it. All I will do is enable auto smooth, and I will also slightly increase the bevel on this, so 0015. Yeah, I think that's going to look good. I also think I sounded a bit too excited about that, didn't I? Oh well. Cool. So, time to start thinking about separating these up and getting origin points and stuff in the right space, or the right place, I should say, which is a bit of a pain, if I'm honest. Well, the only ever, I suppose, ideally I'd like the origin point to be on the sort of top end towards the bottom of each key, because it'll make altering their position. Like if I was going to be animating this, it'd make it nice and easy to move them. But since we're not animating, I'm going to be lazy and not care. All I'm going to do is grab all of the geometry here and grab it down, because I just want the origin point to be kind of at least on these axes towards the bottom. So now when I rotate the keys, they'll rotate like that. Yeah. And kind of the same deal for this chap. So I want the origin point to be about there and about there. Yeah, cool. Because all I'm going to be doing once we've kind of put everything in the right place, or probably more towards the end, is just kind of messing these keys up. Because if you look at the reference picture, the keys are all kind of used and all over the place, and I want to try and replicate that as well, because imperfections are perfection. No, that's not the saying, is it? I don't know. Messy good. That's going to be my one. None of this complicated stuff. Okay, more. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Array. Wow, I forgot the word array. You're rocking it today, Bill. So let's just move you to there. I promise this is probably the last time that I do this particular action. Probably. Because I think this is the third time in the last God knows how long. But yeah, cool. We're starting to get piano keys. Kinda. Did you guys watch Westworld? I would assume you did. At least some of you did. Because I actually really like it. Probably what interested me was probably not the same thing that would interest like the majority of people. It wasn't so much the robots gone bad storyline, so much as it was the, I don't know, it kind of makes you question the humans in general and what we do in that situation. Like, what would you do if you went to this park where there's no rules whatsoever and you can do literally whatever you want? Yeah, I found that kind of creepy. Cool, okay, we're getting there. So we do still have some issues, but I'll address those later. Again, we're not animating this, so it doesn't really matter that this is all one block, because I can just edit one key at a time if I want to change rotation, can't I guess. Except it won't be around the origin point though. Anyway, I'll figure that out. Cool. So what's next is we need to start building up the impression of the rest of the keyboard. Now we don't need to go into too much detail because there isn't much to look at really. There's like a little plane heading up this way which then cuts in a little bit and allows for this hinge. This is obviously the handle, not the handle there, what do you call it there? Cover for the keys that has been left up, but you can't really tell much about its shape. And then there's the cutout for that cover here, and that's what you can see. And maybe a little wooden bit coming out here as well. But yeah, all in all, very limited to what we have to model, which sounds good to me. So let's start that now with a cube. Scale that chap down, zoom in a bit, scale some more, and I suppose that's going to be the right thickness. How about that? Let's have a look at Mr. Reference again. Oh, it's really hard to tell because of the lighting, isn't it? Probably less because it's just a hinge. So probably about that thickness. And about I'd say that height. Yeah, something like that should do the trick. So we can just grab that face and drag it along here until we get to that there. Sweet, that'll do the trick. Whack a bevel on that from, in fact, any of these not gotten around? Yeah, I'll nick you. Control modifiers and shade smooth. And now this should have a bevel. No auto smooth. It should still have a bevel though. Aha, I didn't have the scale applied. Cool. So we've got our back platey bit here. It looks like there's something really similar to that here, like where the keys stop. In fact, now looking at that, the keys need to be bigger, don't they? Ooh. Sometimes you don't see things until you do. A true story. That's some good sage-like advice, isn't it? Sometimes you don't see things until you do. Well, duh. Okay, so I'm going to place that about there. And then we need to jump into our keys. And I'm just going to jump to the layout. It's just a bit easier to see what I'm doing here. So I'm just jumping into wireframe mode, which for some reason's looking a bit... Oh, it's just because there's so much geometry. It kind of gets that ghosted effect. Cool. Okay, as long as it's not an issue. And we'll just grab those down a bit. Ooh, starting to look piano-y. TM. Yeah, I like it. Okay, cool. I'm going to grab this chap. And this is mostly going to be... It won't be visible. So I'm going to get rid of that bevel. And the weighted normals. And this is just to make sure light doesn't bleed through from underneath. I don't think we're even going to have any lighting down there, but yeah, that's why I'm doing that. Awesome sauce. Okay, so to cheat, what I'm going to do now is imagine that I'm making the actual lid, and put the lid in place and then raise it. Yeah, makes sense? Makes sense to me. So let's duplicate this one because this has still got the modifiers on it. Rotate it around and we'll place that there. And then we'll imagine that we're making this lid so it comes to about there. And then has a little, oh, would be quite a large cutout, wouldn't it? Yeah, we'll see how that looks. That sounds a bit extreme to me. But that would be effectively the lid of our little thing, and then the hinge would hinge it up. I'm going with an exact 90, but we'll probably adjust that afterwards. And place that about there. Still got the hinge to actually model in, of course, but yeah, that's looking kind of piano, isn't it? Wicked. Cheap modelling from Bill. I like it. Okay, so what else have we got? Now we've got that kind of block at the end, which is may as well be just a block as far as anyone can see. So that's what we're going to do, is just model a block. Sweet. One block. Sorry, my own laziness is impressing me at the moment. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but cool. If it works, it works. Which we don't know yet. We'll find that out later. But I see no reason why this won't work. Allow a bit of room for the lid to fall into place, and it needs a little bit more length because there's another kind of liddy bit here that pokes out. I think liddy bit's the right phrase for that. But yeah, there's another shelf. And we'll just whack that about Yeah, about there. And this will have to at least meet that, I suppose. And probably come down to about there. Wow, I actually think we're just about done with modelling. Apart from the kind of skewy-ing stuff up part. But yeah, I like it. Cool. Okay, so now I want to try and see if I can get the camera to vaguely match what's going on here. And see how badly we've done. So let's add in a camera. I'll just whack it here for now. Jump to wireframe mode. And then with the camera selected, go to background images, add in an image of our scene there. Cool. This is going to make me feel sick. Ooh. No, I'm not bothered about. I'm not doing like an F-spy type of thing here and making sure everything's like amazingly perfect. I just want to make sure it's got the rough gist of it, you know? So let's go to solid mode. Just. Thank you. Kinda. You know, it's close enough for what I wanted to do, so yeah, I'm happy. Okay, let's have a little look then at lighting and stuff, because it's going to be difficult to judge what we need to do without seeing the lighting. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause for just a moment to go get myself a drink. Okay, I'm back. Well, almost back. I'm actually just finishing my coffee. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how this is progressing. I wanted to just mention my new recording and streaming setup, since I'm using it. Yeah, one problem I was having is I was sometimes getting some situations where I use a particular encoder in OBS that would be fine with Blender, but then it wouldn't be fine with 3ds Max, or at least one of the renderers were in 3ds Max, because instead of using CUDA they use the processor. But then I'd change it over to that, and then when I use Blender I'd run into problems because I'd changed it over, and it was just getting really, really annoying. So what I've done is bought myself a laptop and one of those HDMI capture card jobbies. So I now feed the output of my computer into the capture card, and I use the laptop for recording, which means the computer's completely free for just demonstrating what it is I'm doing. Which yeah, I think the setup's going to work pretty well. I haven't really put it through its paces yet, but it certainly seems to be behaving well. It should also be a lot better for streaming, because it's two separate machines handling the different loads. Okay, so what were we going to do again? I've forgotten. Oh yeah, we were going to look at lighting. So it's time to jump over to our shading tab. Now this I changed a little bit layout wise. I typically use pretty much the default, but again for streaming I try and make as much use of the space as I can. So I've got my node set up here. Well, did I say streaming? I'm recording, but you get the idea. But and the rendered view here. Now because I'm using a pretty much normal kind of 1080p render window here, I could probably split that off and also have a reference image, which might be handy for. In fact, yeah, let's do it. Let's do that. No, not vertical split. Horizontal split. I want you to be my rendered mode, and I want you to be my image, and I want the picture. Sweet. So now we have kind of the whole thing behaving as it should be. Ish. Cool. So let's have a look at lighting now. Obviously this lighting is dominated by this big bloomy kind of, I don't know what the hell it is, light thing in the background. So yeah, let's start by giving ourselves a light that can do that. A mesh light probably will be good for this. So I'll just, yeah, kind of do that. We can move it around afterwards. So let's give that a material first. In fact, let's get the world and turn the strength to 0. And then add a new material to this plane and call it backlight. What's the proper name for it? It would be a key light, wouldn't it? No, no? Yeah, key light, because you have your... I always forget the names. Your fill light's the one from the side. Rim light, that's what it would be. It's essentially a giant rim light, isn't it? So I'm going to call it rim light. Cool. And we'll just whack in an emission shader. Like so. And yeah, it looks awful. Don't worry, I wasn't expecting it to look any better than that. And then what I'll do is I'll add in a gradient texture. We want what's the one with a nice kind of easing out from the middle one? Or do I want to use a texture for that? I don't recall. Is there just like a nice... Yeah, that's what I wanted. Coolio. Yes, I did just say that. And I'll just grab the location of this. We'll set it to object. Will that make it go in the middle? Hey! Nice! And then we want to make it so the brightest part will be just about there, and then it will kind of fade out. Obviously, we'll be doing some bloominess. Some bloominess, TM. To blow that out a little bit in post-processing, but I want to get that kind of gradient sort of look from the actual light itself. I think that will help us later. And we'll just up the strength for that to about 5. Yeah, I think that'll work kind of well. Maybe even higher. I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? Because I tend to adjust my lamp strengths by the exposure values anyway. But yeah, we'll say that's fine. I'm going to actually turn off that for now. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so looking at the reflections on here, I'm guessing there's some kind of like spotlight type of thing. Like the, would you call it a fill light, or would it be another key light? I don't know. I'm useless with the names, but I think there's a light directly from above shining down. This isn't all reflection. So let's just head over here and add in... I'm going to stick to mesh lighting because I like it. And what we'll do is raise this up a tad. Maybe shrink it. I want it kind of... I don't know, I don't want it to really grab the material there too much. I don't know, I'll just have to see how it goes. So let's add another material. I'm going to try calling it fill light. I think we've established I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to those things. And add in the emission shader, and then just crank up the strength. Kind of. I think that'll work for us. I'll probably have to bring it in closer and make it a bit more. I might have to use a good old-fashioned spotlight, actually, you know, so I can better control the kind of direction that it's coming from. Or maybe. I don't know. I think that'll give us some nice lighting. Possibly. It's hard to tell about materials, isn't it? Okay, let's leave that as it is for now and start working on some of these materials, because I think, at least to start with, we can get away with just the two, can't we? We want like shiny black and shiny white. Can you guess what I'm going to call it? I'll give you a clue, it's going to be just that. Cool, so let's call this shiny white. And the roughness will be next to nothing, I suppose. Now they won't be staying this shiny because we're going to be using imperfections a lot. But, yeah, see, I don't want this light catching this because it really doesn't there. Unless it's just, is it just the roughness blowing that out? Maybe. I don't know. We'll deal with that when we get to it, I suppose. Not liking this at all. Not liking this at all. Let's have a look at colour management. So we do have Filmicon. I'm definitely going to want really high contrast here, like crazy contrast. Okay, maybe not that crazy. And then we can control the overall exposure from there. Okay, so let's start our other material of black shiny. Was it shiny? Black? Does it even matter? Am I even spelling shiny right? I guess we'll never know. Okay, so almost nothing on here except some roughness. Nice. Nice. And then I'm going to pretty much, for now, I'm going to select our shiny white and then invert the selection. Grab that. And in theory, that should give me the materials I need. Ruh-roh! Oh no, because I just just got rid of my mesh lamps, didn't I? Undo! Okay, fine, I'll do it in the mode where we can actually see. So, I want those first keys, and I want to, in fact I want to just grab that, select, invert. Definitely do want that. Don't have the camera selected, don't have that selected, don't have that selected. Control materials, and that should be groovy. Excuse me. Are you trying to frustrate me? Because it feels like you are. Oh, I've got the wrong keys selected because I'm a moron. It's that one we want. Control materials. Have a look. Yeah, that's more like it. Kinda. Okay, definitely got some work to do as far as lighting is going because that looks pretty horrendous. Okay, HDRs to the rescue. Let's get a little bit of world lighting going on as well. So I want to change this to world, like I saw, and then press Control T because we have Node Wrangler enabled, and that will bring in environment, texture mapping, and texture coordinate. And then I've got to remember how to navigate around my file system. I love booleans. Where do I even put them? Aha. My delightful HDRs from HDRI Haven, the most awesomest site for HDRs in my opinion. And is it generating previews? Ugh. Oh, it's going to take forever. Okay, I'll pause until this catches up. Okay, so we've got a bunch of studio HDRs here, which should work delightfully for this type of thing. I'm going to choose this one with the big kind of, whatever you want to call it, lamp, because it actually might do a better job of being our backlight than our actual backlight. I don't know, we'll have a look. Yeah, I'll make the strength 1, and what I want to do just for now is take our mesh lights and hide them. I just want to see the lighting from the HDR. So let's just rotate this chappy around until we get our bright light. Ooh, ooh. Oh, hello, bright light. Oh, you know, that might actually work for us. The exposure's up a little high, I suppose, but... Yeah. Yeah, that might solve all our problems, because once we start adding in all the... I know at the moment you can't see any of the detail here and stuff, but that's just because we've got no roughness. If I were to grab the black material, for example, and add in some roughness. No, that's not going to work, is it? Okay, so that means we still have a little bit of adjustifying to do. Not a problem though. Okay, so what I'll do is go back to the world view. I'm going to duplicate that and bring in a second HDR, because I like getting crazy with lighting. That looks like it'll work nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to power this by the second HDR, but we're just focusing on the light that's going to be actually hitting this backboard and the keys and stuff. So that's not the right one. Yo, what you playing at? Did I hit cancel? Am I retarded? Has my brain shrunk? Studio 2. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's rotate this chappy around until we get a bit more lighting on here. Might be too much. Yeah, about that. And then what I'm going to do is add these together, because I'm crazy. So color, mix RGB. I'll screen it actually. Let's take the high values. Screen. That one on top of that. Yeah. So now we have this separate amount for the back of the piano bit there. Nice. Cool. Okay, next thing I want to try and replicate is the depth of field, which is nice and easy to do. Oh, excuse me. So let's just grab our little view here, grab the camera, go to depth of field. I also want to see the limits, and we want to reduce the distance to probably about, let's have a look at our reference. So where's it most in focus? I think I just got that spot on right, yeah, just about there. Cool. It's probably a bit extreme though, in terms of the amount of depth of field. So let's change our f-stop up a bit to like 4. Maybe 5. Nice. Yeah, I think that with some bloom and whatnot will give us exactly the sort of look we want. I really do. Nice. Okay, so we just eliminate some of the roughness in that. Yeah, so when it's completely rough, it doesn't show up at all, but as it gets rough, it catches that light. So once we start putting in some imperfections and whatnot, I think that will give us the look that we're after. Now, I do still have the model to bring in here. These keys are going to need to be rougher, I think, in general than the back plate. But yeah, we'll figure that out when we come to it. Cool. That's looking pretty good. I'm moderately happy. Yeah. Okay, so next up then, what do we want to do? Okay, so for the keys themselves, I want to use UVs. In fact, I probably want to use UVs on everything. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to select all of this and just do a smart UV project. And then, these are all still arrayed, aren't they? Okay, let's apply all our arrays. We'll need to do that anyway for when we start mucking around with the positioning to make them look a bit messy. Holy moly. Lots of clicking. I'm trying to give a name for this style of tutorial. I think I'm going to go with like something really cheesy, like, I don't know, BlenderBrit Unplugged. Yeah. Because in terms of actual value, I don't for a second think that... I'm just going to try and apply the scale and everything. See if that holds up. Yeah, it does good. Yeah, in terms of value, tutorial value, I don't think this method is good at all. I truly don't, because it's unfocused. It's going to be massively overly long, and yeah, I don't think it'd be a good way to learn. But if you happen to like listening to my voice and my terrible sense of humour, then it's actually a really nice and efficient way for me to make content for the channel, because I don't have to put in the thought of all the practice sessions and the editing afterwards. It's pretty much just a matter of think of something to doodle and start doodling and see how it turns out, which, yeah, that obviously has some advantages. Okay, so let's just get the final bit of modelling done, which is kind of this hinge. You can't even really tell what it's doing, so I'm going to be super lazy with it, because that's kind of the theme of the day, isn't it? So let's add in a cylinder. Rotate. What the hell? Rotate 90. And let's just get the shape of the cylinder right first, and then I'll get it the right size. So we want kind of a long bar, and then I don't know, extrude and scale and extrude a bit. For like the end of the hingey bit. I don't know. Smooth, and then add in a bevel, angle only, clamp overlap, make it tiny, turn on auto smooth, weighted normal. Yeah, that looks relatively hingy, doesn't it? Sure, we'll say it does. Give it a quick material, just metal up to 1 and roughness to about 0.2, something like that. Should be fine. I've not even got the origin point in the right place. No, I'm fixing that. There's certain things I just can't put up with, and that is one of them. Okay, and then we want to shrink it down so it's hingy sort of size for this kind of basey bit here. So that'll go about there. And now I'll just kind of bring it along until it's in the right place. Let's look at the old reference. So, yeah, about... Oh, doesn't really look right at all. You know what, I reckon that'll do. I really do. Let me just have a look in rendered mode though. Yeah, close enough. It'll do. It'll do. Cool. So, I don't think I finished unwrapping everything, did I? Maybe I did. Yeah, I think I did. So that's got a UV map. So does that. So does that. So does that. All the keys definitely do. Sweet. They're rough around the edges, but they will do. Okay, so let's first concentrate, because the ones that are most noticeable, the ones I want to pay the most attention to, are the white keys. Yeah, they are really, really noticeable in terms of the texture and the look of them. So let's click on them. We've got shiny white. I'll give it a more descriptive name. It's the only time we're using it, so I'm just going to rename the material to be keys white. And yeah, let's have a look at a map. So for those of you that don't know, I actually work for Polygon, so I tend to get a lot of my materials from there. Oh, of course I'm not signed in. because I'm in Linux. You know what? I've got a lot of them saved anyway, so I'm going to grab an image texture and navigate to there, and wipes. So let's have a look at dirt wipes. Yeah, it'd be a good start. Okay, so we're going to open up this, change it to non-color because it's non-color. No, we want to get the most detail out of this texture that we can. So we want it set to non-color data because then it's not trying to fit it into the sRGB color space. I hope I said that right. It confuses me. So I'm just going to grab these three, change the scale. Ooh, no. I can't see because of the stupid, what do you call it? That. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that's a really good start actually for what we want. So let's feed that into our roughness. And then I'm going to get in a color ramp. And what this allows us to do, by the way, in case you don't use Node Wrangler, if you hold Control and Shift and left click, it will automatically preview that part of your node structure. Yeah, so that's really, really handy. So what we want to do here is we want to exaggerate the roughness because it wasn't coming through particularly well. So we want to increase the white value. So if I were to bring this all the way down here, we've got nearly a completely white texture, which would mean complete roughness. As you can kind of see there, we've lost all our shine. Whereas if I bring it down, we get our shine back. And what we want is a happy medium where we're starting to lose the shine due to the roughness of that. Oh, that's difficult to judge. Yeah, that's nice. Me likey. But I'll set it back a little bit because we're going to add in another wipes texture and kind of combine them, and hopefully we'll end up with that kind of level of roughness after that. So let's grab another image texture. Now I would try and suggest like a alternative place to get these kind of maps, but quite honestly I've not found them. So yeah, you might have to go subscribe to Polygon. Or another paid site. I'm sure Megascans has got some good ones too. But in terms of free resources for really good imperfection maps, I've never found them, despite looking. Let's have a look at this dirt wipes. Nope. Don't like it. What about smudges? Hand smudges. Type B medium. No. Don't like it. Hand smudges, or just smudges large. Yeah. Yeah. I might actually use both of these. Well, first I'm going to start off with the roughness and just duplicate what we've already done. So Control T for the mapping. Have a look at it, turn to linear. Up the scale until we get something that looks nice. Ooh, pretty. Add in one of these chaps to exaggerate the effect. And then add in a converter math node just to add these together. I'll put in a clamp so we can't go over the white value. And now we can control the intensity of each one of these by the amount of white value here. Yeah, you see how that cuts it out? But it might be fine as is, so let's have a look. Yeah, that's not bad. That is not too shabby. But what I also want to try, and this could be a complete fail that I will quickly change my mind on, but I want to try bringing in... I just had it. There we go. This texture, which is like the invert of the one down here, and use it for colouring. because it kind of, I don't know, I think it might work nice. Either with the same mapping as that one. Yeah. Kind of like a dirt map, almost, I suppose. Does it make much of a difference? Does it make any difference? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah, it makes the keys look kind of old and skanky. But what I think, just to make it stand out on its own, I'm going to change the mapping so it has its one separate from the roughness of that one. Yeah. Oh, me likey. Okay, so next up is the keys. So let's, I'm going to grab all of that, because that's good stuff right there. And then grab this material, but we're going to click on the little icon there to separate out the key material and call it keys black. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, I need to select all the other keys, don't I? And make sure it's got the same material. So I want that one, 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 that one. I'm seeing a pattern here. There we go. Oh, damn you. And then what was the original black keys? Please be you. Nope. How about you? Nope. How about you? Nope. How about you? How about you? How about you? Oh my god, was it any of these? Okay, I'm just going to change that material to be keys black and then Control L materials. So all of these should be keys black, but only those. So if we change the colour to, like, I don't know, blue, it's just the keys. Sweet, we did it right. Okay, I'm now going to Control V and add in those nodes. Connect up the roughness. It won't work straight out of the box though, because we also need to adjust the mapping. So let's just click on the individual ones and take a look at the mapping here. And it's kind of stretched, isn't it? I'm using UV, so I wouldn't expect them to be stretched. Did I not apply the scale of these things? Maybe I didn't unwrap them. Shock. Okay, so select linked material, tab into edit mode, UV unwrap, smart UV project. Hey, that's more like it. Okay, so that one looks, I know, relatively okay. Yeah, that's too low. Let's try 5. Nice. And let's have a look at that one. Don't like it. Maybe 7. Maybe combined it'll be okay though. Yeah, it looks much nicer combined. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Okay. So now the rest of the black material, which I might be able to get away with by using generated coordinates or something like that, so we don't have to adjust the scaling for every UV map, because that would just be really boring. So let's have a look at this one, Control V in the same chappies, and let's see if we can go down the generated route for shiny black. So generate, oh god, box. Oh, that looks horrible. Object. No, because then it's going to be different for each object, isn't it? I don't know. That looks okay to me. Yeah. Obviously, I changed the scaling, but in terms of the mapping itself, that looks fine. Quality. Let's change that to 1. Oh, lazy mode for the win. Change that to object. Change that to 1 as well. Change that to box. Oof, that's horrible. Change it to 0.3. It's got this kind of big missing area, but they're going to be combined and probably not as rough anyway. In fact, what I'll do is add in, I know you can control the values by changing the white values there, but I'm just going to have an overriding control here so I can make it go away. Cool, so let's see what it looks like on full power. Kind of grimy, but too grimy maybe. I need to get rid of that. I think this is too grimy. Yeah, maybe just like 0.2. 0.3. Yeah, just a hint of grime, because we're going to bring in a different map and add in loads of scratches for this overall material. So let's do that now. So texture, image texture, open, and then add in, not that, scratches. I don't think I have many scratches. Does that even have scratches? Lame. I don't think I've got any good scratch textures here, but I don't know, I'll have a look. I'm doing my best. Oh no, this should be fine. Okay, so let's add in that normal map. Go to linear, Control T for mapping. Add in our normal map node guy. Drop that into normals. It's not looking promising, is it? And we'll also be using object coordinates and setting it to box. And what the smeg is going on? Because that looks horrible, doesn't it? That looks absolutely nasty. Let me just disconnect the roughness for a minute, just so we're focusing solely on the scratches. Maybe it's just a matter of scale. So let's set this to something like, I don't know, 0.25. Oh no. It looks even worse. Wow. Okay, so we need to adjust the scale and also the strength, because these are ridiculously strong. So let's try 0.4. Maybe it was right at 1 actually. 0.8. Yeah, 0.8 is not bad. And let's set the strength for something much more realistic, like a 0.05. Or is that just too subtle? That's too subtle. 0.2. Horrible. 0.1. That might be our sweet spot. So 0.1, maybe 0.15. I do want it to look scratched. And then roughness. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's do a little quick render of about, I don't know, 500 samples. And let's have a look at our settings. So we've got adaptive sampling now, which is rather interesting, but I've not played around enough with it to want to do it during a video, so we'll leave that alone. And instead, I'm going to start playing with our bounces. So I'm going to give it 1 diffuse bounce, 1 glossy, 2 zero transparency because we haven't got any, 2 transmission. Probably doesn't even need that, but that should really speed up our render time. So the maximum we're going to need is 2. We don't want caustics because it's Blender. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's hit render. Render. I bet I haven't. Hold on. Edit preferences. Temporary windows, render in, keep user interface. I hate that default of it loading up a new window. I prefer to go to the rendering tab, hit F12, and then I get my render. Cool, this should only take a minute with all those bounces removed. I still need to mess with the keys, but I wanted to kind of get a look of it actually rendered. Because I think we're kind of at the phase where I want to see what it looks like. And you know what? That is not too bad, is it? Okay, I'm going to pause it there because I can already see it's well one. Just thinking ahead, I'm going to need an extra pass, like an environment pass. Have they moved that around? No, good. Because we want to control the bloom for the environment separately from the rest of it to give it that blown out kind of look that the other one has, or the reference has. I probably want to turn down the roughness of the keys just a little bit. And other than that, I think I'm happy. Oh, obviously, we need to mess up the look of the keys, which is going to be our last final step now. And then we'll be good to do a bit of compositing. And hopefully this video won't drag on for too long. Cool. Okay. So yeah, keys. Black keys. Roughness. I'm going to put in a multiplier node. And just multiply by 0.7. I still want them to look rough, just not as bad as they did there. Cool. So that's it for materials. It's literally just the layout I want to mess with now. Yeah, we'll do this from modeling mode. Because we can actually do it from camera view, mostly, I think. Because of the way we've done the, what do you call it there? Yeah, my brain's gone numb. The thing of the stuff. In fact, I'm sure there's a quick way of doing this. Like, isn't there a way to create some randomization based on the... No, they have to be separate objects. Separate by loose parts. That might work then. Select linked material. And then edit. No, what is it? Object, transform, randomize transform. I don't use this very often, as you can probably tell. It's the Y rotation? No, definitely not the Y rotation. Is it the X rotation? Aha! Yeah, boy! So we just want to kind of, I don't know, do something. Let me turn that crap off. So we don't want it to be like hideous. Still want a keyboard. Just a little bit of play. Now the Z rotation is just not going to work because the origin points are all different, I think. Oh, you know what? It might just... That's not bad. That is not bad. Yeah. Booyah. We might have to do some manual adjustments here, but for a quick time saving thing, that's pretty good. Okay, let's select all by type, material. Nope, select linked material. And then Control P, no, L, P. Oh, I did it earlier. What am I doing? P. By loose parts. Sweet. So we should have all of these keys separate. Yes. Linked material. And then... Come on, I did it a minute ago. Transform. Randomize transform. Turn that off. Set that back to 0 and 0. So not that one, it is the X, isn't it? Yeah. Just a smidge. Nice. Okay. So now a few manual ones, because in this we've got the key, two of the keys pushed down, for example. I'm not sure which one it'll be. Let's have a look. I know it doesn't have to be the same, but it's basically like the one between the two twos. Yeah. I don't know my keys, can you tell? There's like that one and that one, I think. Yeah. So rotate along the white. No. I need to change my pivot point to... Where's my pivot point? Where is my pivot point? I've genuinely forgotten where my pivot point is. Someone's probably shouting at the screen now. Don't be a moron! Individual origins? Yeah. And then rotate YY. Oh, XX? Aha! Cool. So, rotate XX, and then because of the way we've done the... Yeah! That works nice! I'm always surprised when something I do works. Wicked. Okay, I'm just going to hit render on that, because I know this is already going to drag on longer than I wanted, and I wanted to get onto some compositing. So let's have a little save and hit render, and I'll be back. I'm going to whack up the samples to 1500, and yeah, I'll pause until we get back. And we're back, and yeah, that's turned out pretty nice. Looking at it, I think I might have way too many keys. I don't know my pianos that well, but yeah, who cares? The idea kind of works, doesn't it? So I'm just going to do a little quick bit of compositing to tie this off with, and then we will call it a day, because I've no idea how long this has run on for, but I'm guessing quite some time. So let's grab our... I'll grab a blur node, and we'll take the environment, which should just be that part. Good. And we'll change it to fast Gaussian, relative, and I don't know, 20%. Yeah, likey. And then what I'll do is add in a color mix, and just add that to that. And yeah, that'll control our bloom for our background. Yeah, I'm going to do this as two separate things actually. So that's going to be our bloom kind of effect, but I also want to blur the background itself. So let's grab that again. Probably the same amount of background actually, and instead, what's the best way to do this? Maybe with a clamp? I don't know, we'll have a look. So I actually want to take the background image and the image over the top of it, and just, no, I can't mix it, can I? Do we have an alpha? We don't have an alpha channel. I don't want to re-render, so I'm just trying to... Oh, well that's not right. Maybe add... No, because that's adding that as well. Okay. Maybe make this one way less. Just so I'm blurring the background, and then feed that to there. It's a bit OTT, isn't it? Clamp it maybe? Oh no, don't hit the clamp button. Yeah, I think I'd want to re-render and manually do the background, maybe have an alpha channel. Which I thought it would have done that for me, to be honest. Oh no, I just need to set the film to transparent, wouldn't I? Yeah. Can I mix it in? No, because then it'll take out some of our... Can I screen the Nope. I most definitely cannot. Can I add it after the fact? Let's do full add and turn that to like 2 and then add in that one. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah, we'll stick with that. It's not exactly what I wanted, but yeah, I think it'll do. So I'm gonna add in a what am I looking for? Let's add in some curve and see if we can play with this a little bit. Maybe the other way? No, definitely not. If anything, that's just bringing the brightness out more, isn't it? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Hello. Maybe that can save us. Just kind of lower the brightness of the whole thing. Yeah, I'm losing some of the detail in the keys a little bit. In fact, they probably could have been done with being a little rougher to capture more of the light. But yeah, not too bad. I'm really dialing it actually, aren't I? You know what? I'm just gonna not bother. Not gonna bother. Instead, I'll try and lessen the effect with a vignette in a moment. But first, let's go to color balance, and have a little play with this. I'm doubling up on the blue here. Yeah. Ooh, actually, that brings out the keys a little nicer. Yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad. Cool. Okay. So we'll also add in a lens distortion of about 0.02. Yeah, not too bad. Maybe a bit of dispersion, ever so slightly. And then we'll add in a ellipse mask. And set that to 1. No. Set that to 1, and that to that. Is it just me? Does that look really like half strength? Yeah, that doesn't look right, does it? Normally, it'll be white. I wonder if that's because I've got my exposure values changed. I've not seen that happen before. That's kind of new. But yeah, that should do the trick. I just want to make sure that it's as bright as it can be, because I don't want it to... I don't want to take the darker areas, don't I? That's cool, I'll just clamp it and it should be fine. I've got a feeling they've changed that since in 2.83, because I've not had that happen before. Well, that looks terrible. That's definitely weird though. I'm just going to change my exposure to default for a second and see if that... Yeah, so it's the exposure value. Weird. I've never noticed that before. Cool. Anyway, that should still work. That's very, very strange though. I don't get why they've done it that way. So yeah, we're feeding the image there, feeding our vignette mask there. Set this to multiply and have a little look-see. So that should... Yes, it's multiplying the texture. But if I say it's a 1... so it's only visibly different because of the exposure. The actual effect on the final image isn't. Well, that's not very intuitive, but hey. Now, normally I wouldn't ever go, shut up phone, this high on a multiply, but just because it's a really kind of weird, artistic-y sort of shot, I think it works just fine. In fact, it really helps. Yeah, I like it. Cool. Right, we're going to call that, for better or worse, done. Let me just join that to that. And make the nodes tiny. I'm just trying to expand this so we can actually have a look at it. Fit. Yeah. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to call that officially done. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this rather bizarre format. There's probably only about 6 people in the whole world who would actually reach it to the end to hear me saying thank you, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I hope you picked up some tricks, and I will catch you next time.